NBC's Jim Maceda joining me live now from Tahrir Square. Jim, the scene at first glance appears reminiscent of the Egyptian revolution nearly 2 years ago.
Hi there, Craig. You're absolutely right. And I want to point out something that's just happened within the last couple of minutes. We've seen some exchanges of blows, some scuffling going on between what looks like the mostly anti-Morsi people who are here. Obviously, this is an opposition demonstration, and perhaps some infiltrated pro-Morsi people. It's hard to tell. But just down below us, there was some scuffling, some punching out. It looked like they were throwing some sticks or using sticks against each other, and suddenly the group that had apparently instigated that were thrown by obviously undercover security into a van and then driven off. This all just happened a few moments ago. You're absolutely right that you get that feeling of 2 years ago here. You've got a massive crowd, by last estimate about 100,000 here tonight, packed into this square. It's, of course, ground zero of the 2011 revolution. And then, like the protesters back then, they're chanting, you can hear them, leave, leave in Arabic, and the people want to bring down the regime. Those are the same slogans that were directed against the former dictator Hosni Mubarak. Today, they're meant for President Morsi. These are people who are mixed. It's a mixed bag, young and old, male, lots of female, from all walks of life. And they are part of this opposition movement, Craig, that's really been galvanized over the past week or two by, last week, I should say, by Morsi's sudden decree that has given him, of course, so much power. But now they're also protesting against something else, and it's an important point to make here. They're concerned about and reject entirely this rushed and flawed draft constitution, which they say doesn't represent them at all, but rather represents Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood and other Islamist allies who wrote and improved that rushed constitution. They say now that to ratify this draft constitution is just a political ploy by Morsi to get him out of his current jam that he's in, because keep in mind, once there's a new constitution, Morsi can hand over much of that controversial power to the parliament, and then he gains a state with a constitution that has a very, very strong Islamist bias, one which, by the way, critics and international human rights experts today were criticizing, were concerned about. It could be a constitution that seriously limits freedom of speech, freedom of religion, as well as women's rights, and much more. So, Craig, it's really upping the ante now. This protest is no longer just about a power grab. It's about what kind of country Egyptians down below want. And those people there are saying passionately that they don't want what Morsi has to offer.
Jim,
right?
as you have been talking about this draft constitution, we have zoomed in on some of the pictures that you described as well, the 100,000 or so protesters who have gathered in Tahrir Square, and we've witnessed some of the fisticuffs that you talked about. Is this akin to what you've also been seeing? Have we seen blows being exchanged in that square over the past few days, or is this something new?
We haven't, obviously, there have been now for the past 9 days, there have been ongoing scuffles, skirmishes, clashes, whatever you want to call it, between protesters, a group of protesters, not necessarily part of any specific organization, that take on the security forces when they have the opportunity to do so. That has led to 2 killed so far and several hundred injured here, not just here in Cairo, but up in the Nile River Delta, Alexandria, places like that. So that has been going on independent of this. These demonstrations here, on the other hand, have been relatively nonviolent, quiet, in fact, festive at times. We haven't seen that type of fisticuffs or that kind of violence over the past week here. They've been very careful to stay on message, whether it's, and it's been since for about a week now, it's been entirely the anti-Morsi faction, the opposition. They're staying on message. They want to get the message out that they're staying here, sitting in or demonstrating until the decree and now until the draft constitution are literally torn up.
Jim Maceda in Cairo for us, Tahrir Square. Jim, thank you.